What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have another Game of Thrones the card game 2nd edition tournament video for you, brought to you by these awesome people that support the channel at patreon.com/Rob's Gaming Table. You can donate to by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. We got James playing Stark Wars to come against Carl playing Tyrell Wars to come. We are in the top 4. We got another top 4 match coming up after this. Just had the top 8 matches posted. If you haven't seen any of the Swiss matches or elimination matches already, go check them out at Rob's Gaming Table. They're in a playlist there. All the tournaments are in a playlist and other board game playthrough videos. On the left, Carl has set up. Looks like he's got right. Alaria Tyrell and Scheming Septon and a Rose Garden. On the other side, we got King Rob Stark, a 1-cost Chud, Winterfell Steward, and Heart Tree Grove. So that 3-card, 8 gold setup. Got a big 7-coster on the board with some protection. But on the other side, it's got 8 gold and 4 cards, so not bad either. They're both very good setups, I think. So I just want to advertise for the Rochester, New York Regional coming up August 25th at Millennium Games. Amazing store. Come and check it out if you're in the area or want to make the trek. If not, you can watch it on video later, hopefully. So subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for that. We got Time of Plenty on the Tyrell side. Flipped into Noble Cause. 2 common opening plots. So they'll each draw an extra card in the draw phase. And the Stark player is looking to get a reduction here on a Lord or Lady character.
I'll go first.
And Tyrell player has 1 initiative. He's chosen himself to go first.
No, I mean like that.
So Tyrell Wars to come seems to be doing very well. We've seen it on quite a few videos in this series. It was a popular deck and performed very well in the tournament. So no surprise to see it here in the top 4. Carl, a great player. James Booker, can't say the same about. I'm just kidding, James. You're a good player too. But obviously rooting for Carl here since he is Canadian. I don't think James Booker is Canadian. I'm not 100% sure, but something is telling me he's not. I don't know. Just a feeling I have. So we have a Redwind Straits put out there for the limited. I think it's a Redwind Straits. Yeah, that's a Redwind Straits. And we got Leighton Hightower out there. Works great with Mace. Kneeling him down, dropping a 4-cost or less Tyrell character into play in Elt. An action you can do in any phase, basically. Just helps trigger that, and Hightower and Mace, and yada, yada, yada. And boom, they're at 15 power. All right, we got the Great Hall put in for the limited on the Stark side. No gold left for the Tyrell player, it looks like. So we got Arya Stark put in there using the Winterfell Steward reduction and the reduction off Noble Cause. She's going to get a dupe on her now, has a military icon also. And she gets a regular duplicate. Don't see that too often. That's going to help him out if he wants to keep that Winterfell Steward out there. He can just claim a dupe off Arya. She still has a military icon to come back with some stealth if needed, since he is going second here. So we got the Great Hall and the Heart Tree Grove knelt here. So 6 cost. Who is it? Is it Fast Eddie? Oh, it's 5 for Great John Umber. Since Great Hall is only reducing by 1 there. And since there's fewer than 3 plots in the used pile for the Stark player, he's going to be able to stand him after he wins a military challenge. He does have Intimidate. Very gross player, very gross character to see out on the Stark board early in the game as the opponent. He can be a big problem, that's for sure. So an intrigue challenge with Scheming Septon. 2 strength. I don't see any intrigue icons across the board, which seems to be pretty much a theme with previous games of James Booker's I've watched in this tournament or you've seen on the channel. Not a lot of intrigue icons on the board. Usually it's just like Catelyn Stark, I think, is the only one that we usually see. Oh, and, you know, the new card that's really bringing Stark to the forefront is the Waymond Manderly. He's the other one that covers off that base. So Winter is coming hit on the intrigue. Huge intrigue hit. 1 gold save there. You see what it's there for. James trying to get those 2 claim militaries off here on the start. Try to really whittle down the opponent's board. But we got a military coming in here from right for 2 strength.
Yeah, that's going to be
So no defenders on that one either. And claim will be a dupe from Arya. Scheming Septon will be triggered there to get 2 gold, draw a card, and go back to the top of the deck. And Leighton Hightower triggered here, actually, to bring a character in. And it's Garth the Gross. Very interesting. Now, did he do that just to have Garth the Gross out there to kill for military claim, or is he setting something up with Garth the Gross, figuring he's going to be online? I guess there is a lady, and Leighton Hightower is a lord, so he does have that his full text, giving him the +2 buff and all 3 icons in renown. So it's actually a pretty good body right now. But he is knelt for now.
military.
So military challenge with Rob Stark and Great John Umber. And we get an Old Town Informer jumping in. No bestow, no gold for that. Just coming in there, I guess, for claim soak. So stand Great John Umber for a reaction after winning the military. So he gets an unopposed power. Claim should be that Old Town Informer, I would think. I don't think you want to get rid of the right there yet. That could be a great against a defensive deck. Or against a military deck, sorry. A great defensive tool against a military-focused deck, as we've seen in previous Tyrell and Stark matchups here in this series. But he is going to kill it. Oh no. Right is dead. He's going to try to play an early close call here. Maybe flip into that just so he has a character to move and draw a card. And we have an Intimidate on Alaria Tyrell. And then a power coming through unopposed. Claiming 1, of course. No intrigue, so Dominus going to the Stark player. He's got Great John standing and a gold. It's more than the Old Town Informer across the board. Could he be setting up a Breaking Ties, actually, is the reason why I want to keep that Old Town Informer? Just so he has a cheap, loyal character, and he can get rid of Great John out of play, possibly for a turn. Or try to bounce a dupe off Arya, and then set up a reset. Like a Valar Morghulis is what I'm implying. So you only have, I think, 2 more turns of Great John Umber's ability. So we can take him out of play for at least a turn. Force the opponent to have to play him out again. Pay for him. Can slow him down a bit. Stark player probably wants to win initiative at this point. Having Great John and going first is a really great thing. All because of that intimidate keyword. So the top 4 games are timed. They are still 55 minutes. Just the finals has a different time limit. It's 120 minutes. These players are taking their time here, obviously, deciding on this turn 2 plot. Could be a big deal. So they're playing careful. And here we go. We got trade routes into Filthy Accusations. I didn't see Filthy coming, but that makes sense. Kneeling down John Umber is pretty big, but a Northern Armory Marshal on the Stark side could remedy that. Actually, Rob Stark's going down. Interesting. Is that the right call? I don't know. So only 4 gold gained off the trade routes. Not the biggest trade routes hit. Not used to seeing that flipped in turn 2 pretty early in the game. I mean, unless turn 1, both sides kind of flooded out locations, and then you see it early sometimes. But so Tyrell player going first. He marshals out a Great Hall for his limited. Are we going to see Renly here? I believe we saw it in his hand earlier. He's got Renly in there. I think Brianna Tarth. It's going to be unique coming in here. Somebody for 7, I think he says. Or he's not. Maybe he's debating going like large Marge instead. Or Tinder Marge, whatever. Yep, Tinder Marge instead. Which is interesting. No military icons on the board. It's not Tyrell's strength, I don't think, really. I mean, it can be, but all their little ambush guys and stuff don't have military. So Scheming Septon is the other choice there. Oh, Garth the Gross has a military right now. He does have a military. But he most likely will be killed to bring in somebody more important. So Stark marshalling now, puts a dupe on Rob Stark, puts out another Heart Tree Grove for his limited.
This one is also the top of the deck. Yeah, that's actually pillage. Specifically pillage. Top of the deck. That's specifically pillage. Like Cersei, it's not Cersei. That's specifically pillage. That's specifically top of the deck. Yeah. You have to have it. And he basically gave you the right to choose. Yes. I mean, we're Canadian now.
This looks like James' marshalling choice is not that easy. So he's got like 5 cards to choose from. He's got a bunch of gold, got some reducers, got the Winterfell Steward there also. It's not too obvious, so he's trying to make a tough choice, it looks like. Maybe he's thinking about what his plot will be next round and who he wants to put out and if he's going to play a reset or does he need to keep cards in hand to protect something. He's going to have some intrigue troubles, that's for sure.
Sometimes you can't even tell how much gold is spent because guys go quickly and which one.
So he reduces Barrel and Host with the Hearttree Growth, spend a gold, but gets a gold back after playing a loyal card. So he triggers it off himself. We just heard it's a limit 2. So I guess after he plays a loyal character, he gains a gold. Which he does with King's Rob Host and gets a gold. So he's got 2 now.
Right on John Cena.
He's going to spend 1 on a Flea Bottom. Which he has the Arya dupe in there. I think that's all.
Yes, sir.
And Stark player, of course, sitting on 1 gold, so the threat of a winter is coming is there. But I think he's only sitting on 2 cards. But I mean, I'm sure he's playing 3 of that event. I think because the opponent doesn't control a king, King Rob's Host can steal 2 power or something if he wins a military challenge. I think that's what his text is. So we have an unopposed intrigue coming in here with the Old Town Informer. 2 cards, 50-50 shot. What's it going to be? Another Flea Bottom. So that was kept in there for protection of whatever that other card is, and it worked out. Or he's just sitting on 2 cards he doesn't care about. But no Stark draw in play that I see. So a 3-strength military here with Garth the Gross.
Yeah, renown.
Yep.
And we get a block here from King Rob's Host.
But it's attacking character. Do you want to do it still? Or?
Oh, sure. Oh, I thought so. It's participating. Oh, I guess I won't do that. So,
Yeah, he thought he could on the defense use King Rob's Host
Well, he's a participating one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll give you
power, so he's not going to defend with him.
So we'll do this. We'll do Flea Bottom.
He's going to do a Flea Bottom, I'm sure, bringing, I think, an Arya dupe there.
Okay, so it's unopposed.
And go unopposed and then kill the dupe that goes back. And gets renown on Garth the Gross, of course.
Good
They should
point.
make that first.
So we learned from listening to, I think the other day I listened to the commentary of the Spider's Web tournament that happened on the Iron Throne, the online tournament that Jesse Carpenter and gang were hosting. And I know Jesse mentioned about James bringing his Stark deck to a recent regional. So I'm going to assume it's this deck here. So he obviously got this deck from somebody else, built by somebody else. So he's not obviously familiar with what all the cards do. Maybe that's why he's taking so long marshalling in some of these phases we've seen in these videos. He's just trying to understand the flow of the deck. Maybe he didn't get the proper the write-up from the deck creator. Jesse probably just gave him a couple lines of, here's what you're trying to do. Put these guys on the board. Kill these guys. Definitely a military pressure focus deck. And the King's Rob's Host. I like that idea. It's a great way to snag some extra power. So that might be why he's didn't realize about the King Rob's Host ability. None of us really see that card very often. But since Stark's on the comeback here, showing up at tournaments quite often, especially at this tournament we're at, there was a lot of them. We're starting to see these kind of cards coming out again. And actually, I think this deck, very similar deck like this, actually made the finals of that Spiderweb tournament. I think it was all streamed on Twitch. I'm not sure if they have a way to put it on YouTube to watch later, but so I don't know really how to link it to Twitch, but I believe it was on Buzz's Twitch channel, which I can't remember off the top of my head. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the link in the description below. But you can go, I'm sure, find links for it in the AGOT 2nd Edition Facebook group. It was posted yesterday, I believe, or the day before. Anyways, back to the game. So I think it's a power challenge coming in here with Marge and the Scheming Septon, I think. It's trying to either force James to kneel some stuff down or allow it to go on oppose. And he is going to let it go on oppose, so the Tyrell player will just rack up more power here. Gets a renown on Marge. So Tyrell player is sitting at 7 power. Stark player at 4, because there's power on Rob Stark. So Scheming Septon triggered there, going on the top of the deck, getting a card in 2 gold. And now the Stark player, he's ready to go. James knows what he wants to do. Goes right in with Great John Umber and King Rob's Host for a big military challenge here.
So, reactions to winning.
So he goes unopposed as a reaction stand. Great John Umber.
It's one. Yeah. Just one. Just one.
Unless, is this a war plot?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Oh, it's a war plot. Not a king is needed. It needs to be a war plot in play. And then he can steal 2 power. That's what the King's Rob's Host does. Couldn't remember if it was king related, but it's war plot related. So he only gets 1 power.
Sure.
And then the kill is Leighton Hightower is actually killed instead of Garth the Gross to go get a larger lord or king and bring it into play off Marjorie's ability. So this is claim step. So we still have Intimidate coming up, which he should be able to intimidate whatever comes into play here if he wants, or he'll get Ellery Tyrell. I'm sure it'll be a Renly or a Randall, maybe a Mace. He's got to be careful, though. Valar Morghulis is a thing, and the Stark player wants to play it. I mean, he's got Arya protected, he's got Robb Stark protected. I don't think he would right now with King Rob's Host and Great John Umber, which could keep pushing his game plan. I don't think you'd want to get rid of them, but maybe you can find some duplicates before that case, but we'll see. But then again, whatever he puts into play might... Oh, he goes for a small lord. Interesting. And bestows her too. Sir Garland Tyrell. And he's going to get nulled by Intimidate. So interesting that he did that. Maybe he's worried about Valar Dohaeris. Or he wants to Valar Dohaeris himself, probably. And since he sees an 8-cost character across the board, a 7, a 5, you know, he can definitely get rid of a couple of those guys. And if he were to bring in Randall, Renly, or Mace right now, you'd have to choose getting rid of Marge, plus other characters on the board, obviously. But I just looking at the bigger characters, you have to slim down on it anyway. So we have a power challenge stealth with Arya stealthing past Ellery Tyrell. That'll go unopposed. Dominus goes to the Stark player again. So 9 power on the Stark side after winning Dominance, and the Tyrell player is only at 5 now.
Day of the rake.
I almost brought a rake just because I saw that post.
Fucking pitch a tent in my backyard.
We'll see about that.
You have to rake the spot first. So.
I'm gonna be camping.
So it's good to see James Booker and Brad Iyer make the trip up to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I believe they were staying with some of the local guys there, so it's good to see some people making the far trek. I mean, I thought my 8-hour drive was a far trek, but these guys went even farther, I think. Yeah, it's definitely farther, coming from Ohio. So plot number 3 here. Is it reset time on either side of the board here? It's King of the North into Breaking Ties. So Breaking Ties right now can hit Great John Umber on the other side, and Arya, and the Winterfell Steward.
I want to be first.
Tyrell player going first again. At his choice. No king on the Tyrell side, though. Chose not to get Renly last turn, but I think he's sitting with a Renly in hand, so we may see it marshaled out here, assuming he has... oh, he only has 6 gold, it looks like. Which is not enough to straight play King Renly. He can't reduce it yet since he has no king in play, so he'll have to put out like a Crown of Golden Roses first if he has it, but I don't think he's sitting on it, or that would have been an easy first card marshaled right there. He's got Randall, looks like Knight of Flowers, 2 Renlys. A couple locations there, Brianna Tarth. Is that a put to the sword in hand? It's a 2-cost event in there, I think. Could be a Tyrell event, though. Might not be neutral. So, interesting. King of the North. Not usually a plot that affects Tyrell too much. Usually they're the ones playing it and aggressively. They have King Renly out there pretty quick, or a Crown of Golden Roses. Not usually affecting them. But here, it seems like a good play. Seems like it may have stopped Renly from hitting the board. And whatever Carl's plans were definitely disrupted. He dupes Redwind Straits, which is definitely not something you want to really be doing too much. Maybe he's got Political Disaster in there. He's setting up for that, but didn't play a different limited, so... Yeah, 6 gold. You can tell his game plan was to get Renly on the board with a dupe, and that's not happening here. Then again, the dupe doesn't really work well with a king across the board, so... And King Rob Stark. So he's got... the Knight of Flowers there. It's the event one. That gets a 2 strength buff off events. Got Flea Bottom. He's got no discard pile there.
That was the fastest look ever.
Looks like Carl hasn't really hit Taxation, and James hasn't really hit any intrigue challenges to knock cards out of the Tyrell player's hand. No events have been played by the Tyrell player, so his discard pile is still empty in round 3. It's not something you usually see very often. So over to the Stark player for marshalling. We got a great haul put out there. Steady flow of limiteds on the Stark side of things. He's going to kneel all of his reducing locations there. And gets Catelyn into play for free. She's loyal, so he's going to gain a gold.
1 card.
Yeah, just 1 card.
And he sits on 1 card in hand again. Well, played both cards he had there, but he still has 1 more he's going to hold going into the challenge phase, it looks like. And sitting on, looks like 3 or 4 gold. So over to the Tyrell player for his challenges.
That shit, the gambling we had last game, now it's disgusting. I hope there's only 1 in your whole fucking deck.
You have 5 gold left. You got 10.
Can you?
Nine.
That's
Yeah, you're missing 1. You're at 9.
I'm sorry, this is...
Or do you have the same tokens as me?
Yeah, so this is 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9...
You're missing 1, okay?
I guess the last one is an important.
You know what? I may have thrown it off. How many? You have 15?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like James has lost a power token here. I think it was under his mat at this point. We had to slide his mat over, and I think one of the powers slid under his card or his mat there. So they're just looking, try to see who has enough power, because he's only sitting with 5 there. So it kind of made his opponent think he had 10, but they're just double counting it. He has 9. So he's just going to grab another token here. Just not to mislead his opponent.
Oh, it's okay.
Of my baby Stark tokens.
It's alright, it's alright.
For power. These are my pride and joy. No, I give most of them away. I had like 7 sets at one point, and I'm just like, you don't have any tokens? Here, have a token.
So an intrigue with the Old Town Informer to start here. Callan's out there, though, so we could have some defense. Flea Bottom. going to put a dupe on Arya.
Actually,
Oh, there it is. He found the token under his mat.
Should call Judge, he stole it.
so intrigue.
You have one card left.
Does he care about that last card he has in hand?
Is it this?
Yeah, oh, this one. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, I think you may get it.
He wants to use this Old Town Informer up so he can then use her to sack for Breaking Ties.
It's gonna be
So no defenders on that. Let's see what this last card was. It was a Mountains of the Moon, or Gates of the Moon, sorry, Gates of the Moon. So now the Stark player is empty-handed until something is bounced back to hand off Breaking Ties. Which honestly I would have done first. Since he only had one card in hand, I would have definitely popped a Breaking Ties to get Great John Umber up there and then hit with the Intrigue Claim trying to hit him. Get rid of that Intimidate off the board. But I have this feeling, this Tyrell player Carl here, I have a feeling he has Velardo Harris in the deck. Maybe, maybe not. Tyrell with big dudes, I can see not, but just the fact that he went and got a Little Lord off that Marjorie trigger last round. If he plays Breaking Ties now, he can thin his board out a bit. But then again, he'd also thin his opponent's board out even more. So Velardo Harris would hit his opponent less impactful also. I don't know. Can't trigger Marjorie this turn. No king in play. But he can trigger the plot. And Garland Tyrell is not going to be able to use his ability to buff up Tyrell characters by 2 by spending gold. No Knight of Flowers trigger. If an event's played. So he's going to Breaking Ties, Great John Umber here.
For military, is that 6, 7?
He's +1 for each loyal character I control. So 1, 2. So he's
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 8 in military.
yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just mislead you there.
No, it's good. Military,
I just find they could have used another hero.
So I think it's a military here with Garth the Gross for 3. They were just counting up. Rob Stark has during military challenges, he gets +1 for each loyal character you control. So he's a +3 on military. So claim can actually be pretty juicy here for the Stark player on military. Even if just one claim, he's able to hit a 4-cost character and no Marjorie trigger, or it could be Garth the Gross be killed for 3, but he's got Renown on him, so.
Yeah, he's just hanging out like a bisp.
Every time I saw Great John say, you got that one game I had Great John set up, and then first round, both then later I got first game, so many rounds, they all got milked. They took so many rounds before I played just killed me.
I won. Okay.
He's going to block with Rob Stark. And he'll gain renown. So now the Stark player's at 10 power.
Let's see. I'm going to use
And now a power challenge with Marjorie for 5. Which I think you just block the unopposed with the Winterfell Steward. I think that's all you really do here. And then you can do 3 challenges of your own back. And it looks like can win them all. Depending on who gets killed for military claim, I guess. Yeah, he's going to block with the Winterfell Steward just to prevent the unopposed. Claim steals 1. Renown on Marjorie. Tyrell player's at 8. Now we have a military with King Rob's host. That was expected. And I don't know if we have a war plot reveal, but I don't think so. And the Knight of Flowers will block the unopposed. And claim. The ability steals 1. That goes on King Rob's host. And we should have a claim. Just going to kill the Knight of Flowers, it looks like. Yep, kills the Knight of Flowers. And I think an intrigue challenge with Catelyn Stark would be the smart move. Ellery would either have to block the unopposed. If she does, then Arya could just come through and stealth past Sir Garland. Or you do the power challenge with both of them, which would not be a bad call. Yep, that's where he's going. Power makes sense. Stealth Ellery Tyrell. And that's so that Ellery stays standing for only 3, and I think Dom would be a push, depending on how much gold they have. So claim of 1.
Yeah, challenges.
You're at 4?
Yes, 4.
I'm at 4 too.
So they tie for dominance, it looks like.
Reserve, are you good?
I have 1 card.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have to discard 2.
Oh, and one of these Arya's goes to the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. I'll discard this, and I'll discard this. Sure.
So an Arya went to the bottom of the deck there because Flea Bottom wore off. He didn't use it for claim after all. He ended up defending with Rob Stark to win that military, so he didn't need to use it. So it was interesting why he did that, I don't know, but there's no Isle of Ravens out there or anything that he need to be scared of. But I honestly would have just left it in there to see whether you needed it or not.
I found it finally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I finally found it.
To your finger or what?
It was underneath the playmat. So I must have lost it.
Alright, we got Force Marched into pulling the strings. So it looks like he wants to copy trade routes. And Force March is a war plot. And we're going to see a military icon kneel down here, at least 1. Stark player gets to choose who goes first.
So how do you deal a guy with a military icon? I can just see which one.
I choose.
Yeah,
right?
you choose. Yeah.
Each opponent needs one.
Alright, so what's it going to be? Trade routes or?
Does he do it again? Does he kneel Arya down and to force Garland down? I don't know if that's a good trade or not. He's going to do it, though. So now he doesn't have that stealth.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But then again, Northern Armory. That's the key. If you can get one of those out on the board, stand Arya back up. That's pretty huge.
Okay, draw 2.
So Stark player's at 11 power, I think. Tyrell is at 6. That was a big hit on the trade routes there. That was copied using pulling the strings. So you got 4 on one side and another 6 gold on the other. So 10 gold gained off the plot alone. So I think at this point the Tyrell player's got to forget about resets and just play his big dudes on the board and try to rush back into this thing, get some renown out there, win some challenges, and just go for it before the Stark player can close it out. It's 4 power away from winning. It's got that King Rob's host ability. Renown on Rob Stark. I think Tyrell. I'm not sure who's going first here. I believe the Stark player won initiative. I'm not sure who he chose, but I did see him say he wanted to do his plot. So I think he chose himself to go first. Not really sure what's happening here.
You are first, right?
Oh, am I the first?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, it was one of those situations where Carl knew James was first. James thought Carl was first. But yeah, we did see James choose which plot went off first there, so I'm assuming he chose himself to go first and then just forgot. I've seen that happen a few times. I've done it myself. So I'm really starting to think I'm going to start using a first player token again, just to kind of make sure that we're deciding who goes first. And it's very obvious. I think I want to bring like a giant iron throne or something, one of those Christmas ornament ones or something, and just put that on the board. Very obvious. And surprise, great draw numbers marshaled out there. He was definitely back in hand. We got a dupe on King Rob's host. So the Stark player really doesn't care about a Valar Morghulis at this point. It's more Valar Dohaeris that would really cause some trouble. But I think the Tyrell player is going to say screw it here and just go all out. Just falling behind here.
Bears will be Neil, I think.
So no gold saved on the Stark side. I don't think he has any cards left in hand. He's got Winterfell on the board now. That was the other card. So all his characters are +1 strength. He can stop shenanigans. He can pull a Winterfell off on a military challenge to prevent Marjorie from triggering. So Guard Caretaker coming in, triggering Hightower, getting a gold in the card. Hightower finally online here. So we see Renly, we see Randall in hand. I think he's got to get those bodies on the board. I mean, it's going to be trouble with the Stark player going first with Intimidate and his big bodies, but you just got to throw bodies at it, though. There's Renly.
So this way he can steal it. Or you could move it from somebody else's to their faction. So I'm guessing, so that way you can actually plan. Yeah.
Didn't use the Garden Caretaker there for reduction. I don't think he needs to. He just probably wants to keep the body standing to block some power challenges. Since Arya's knelt, you don't have to worry about that stealth. We got Branda Tart there that doesn't kneel as a defender. But I'm sure she'd be a great target to intimidate.
Once around.
4 gold still remaining for the Tyrell player.
And if you get
So he's got 3-ish cards in hand. And he's put a King of Golden Roses out on Renly, which can give him a +3 strength buff twice per phase by pitching cards, since he does have 3 icons. Which can help get him up to a big strength number that he won't get knelt down by Intimidate, possibly.
Before challenge. I do not. Do you have one?
Looks like they're going to pre-challenge actions here. Looks like Flea Bottom's going to be triggered. Let's bring an Old Town Informer, trigger Hightower. Always debating on the Bestow, actually. The Bestow might be a good call. There's 2 gold left. He may draw into events if he doesn't have one already, so he might not want to use both gold. But he's going to get 1 gold off Hightower. He's going to bestow 2 for Hightower. Get a gold, get a card. He's going to do her ability to draw 2 cards and then discard 2. Gets rid of a Hand's Judgment. And he gets rid of left. So yeah, just count out Rob Stark's +3 strength there on military challenges because of the 3 loyals. I think he's counting out strength here, the Tyrell player, Carl, because he wants to know about Intimidate. But, I mean, you can do that, I think he's based on pitching a card for Crown of Golden Roses, I think is what he's trying to figure out if he wants to do that. Or maybe as an event right now he wants to play like a Growing Strong and add some strength buffs. But I think you just wait to see before, you know, after defenders are declared or after attackers are declared, and you do your strength buffs then. But you got to be careful with Rob Stark's ability. Can remove a character from the challenge and stand them. Works great with Great John Umber. Actually, Great John Umber doesn't have his ability, I don't think. Could be wrong. So Nightmares on Great John Umber, so he loses the Intimidate. Yeah, I guess that's a good call. It's like there's 3 good targets over there you want to hit with Nightmares. But yeah, Great John's Intimidate I think is a good call. So Forest March is just an edict and a war. So the war plot's going to help King Rob's host, but the it's not a winter. So if he tries to prevent Marjorie's ability on the military by using Winterfell, he's also going to stop his triggers on that also. So it would turn off like Rob Stark, King Rob's hosts. And if Great John wasn't Nightmares, he would turn him off also if there are 2 or less plots in the use pile there. But I'm not sure. It looks like there are on the Stark side, but I mean, I think they're on round 4. We're like 50 minutes into this video. They're only on round 4. Definitely some slow play here in this game for sure, as we can see right now. It's like they don't want to make mistakes because your life's on the line here. You're eliminated if so. And the other person makes it to the top 4, so you don't want to screw it up, obviously. But boards have gotten big too. That's the other thing. Analysis paralysis, adding up strength, gold left options, events, strength buffs, you know, that kind of thing, triggers, all these crazy things that could change the challenge math. And trying to figure out how much you want to put in on your challenges could be key. You're off by 1 number, and sometimes that could be what screws you. So military challenge, King Rob's host and Rob Stark. I think 16 that is. Actually 18 with Winterfell. Yeah, they're 9 strength each. And Brianna Tarth will just block for 5. No defending. And she actually gets kicked out of the challenge. Stands and removed, but she's already standing. So it looks like it's going to be unopposed. So he wins by 18-0. So he gets 2 off the house card because it's a war plot.
Yeah, war plot.
And unopposed and renowned. That's it. Yeah, just 1 off a military challenge. So Carl's eliminated. James moves on. Congrats on that. You'll see him in the finals against the winner of the next video. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little alarm bell button to be notified when the next videos go up so you don't miss them. And if we ever go live on the channel, you'll be notified also. Just want to thank all the Patreons for their support. Thank you for being here watching, and I will see you in the next one.